Welcome everybody. Thank you for making the time and joining us. For those who were with us this afternoon, we hope you enjoyed our presenters. We had a super world-class group of presenters with a great subjects and topics, and we hope everyone got something out of it. And obviously our live streaming as well, where we had over 60 people live streaming, listening to our speakers. So thank you. Just a few things. First of all, I'd like to thank Sculptform for providing the venue. It's a fantastic venue. I haven't seen it before, and it's really hosting this type of event. It's fantastic. Wood Solutions, who's provided us this man here, I'll introduce, Adam Dovile, sorry. And we'll get into Adam very soon with a few questions and where he's come from and his journey over the last 8 years since House Rules. Who else we got here to thank? BDAA, part of our sponsors, Sarah Jane, for the work that you've done, and for Vanda, our National Marketing Manager, who keeps rolling out world-class events like this. And all our marketing materials is fantastic, so thank you for everything you do. And the rest of the WeatherTex team and everyone else here, thanks for joining us. So special guest today, Adam, who most of you would recognise him. He's currently the ambassador with Wood Solutions and just joined Eileen and the crew recently, Eileen. Yeah, so which is a great appointment in driving the ultimate renewable in timber products and promoting timber throughout our industry. Adam, 2013 was when it really started, wasn't it? When you came to fame, so to speak, in House Rules. How did that actually happen?
Yeah, well, that's all thanks to my better half, I guess. She went behind my back and applied for a TV show because she thought I'd never renovate our house. We bought a house together, and it was the first house we bought. And yeah, she went behind. I went to the footy. I'm a Collingwood supporter, so it might put a lot of people off. But I went to the footy on a Friday night. She was at home by herself. She was looking around the house, and it obviously wasn't renovated. She saw a show called House Rules, and apparently they renovate your house in 7 days. So that's a win-win in her mind. And she applied for it and didn't tell me. And then we were lucky enough to get selected. So she got a phone call for interview process, and she obviously had to tell me. And my reaction wasn't excitement at the start. But then I'm like, you think life's a game, hun? Like, you can't do that. This is ridiculous. What, do you just want to go on TV and play building games? Are you joking? And then she obviously told me what the prize was. You get your house renovated, and then if you're lucky enough, 1 in 6 chance of getting your mortgage paid off, which was pretty remarkable. And yeah, we were lucky enough to win it. So,
yeah, so 500,000 was it? We had that.
It was whatever the mortgage was. So yeah, we'd only had the house for 2 years, so the mortgage was still pretty high. You can imagine.
So pretty life-changing experience. But your background is a carpenter.
Yes.
And building. Tell us a bit about that, how that started for you.
Yeah, well, I've had a passion for residential building my whole life. Since I was a young kid, I've always loved working with my hands, but it all started, I was fascinated by a timber framed house. Every time I saw a timber house, I'm like, how does anyone know how to do this? Like, how do you cut all these pieces of timber, put them together, and then you end up with this amazing structure? And whether it was a small house or a big house, I was just blown away by it, and I really wanted to learn it. So back in the day, we had yellow pages. I'm sure a lot of people remember the yellow pages. So I went through the yellow pages when I was must have been about 16, I reckon, and just started calling builders. And I asked if I could work with them on weekends and school holidays, and just so I could be on a site. And I could just to see, and I spent my time sweeping floors and filling bins most of the time, but it was just so I could be around it. And then once I finished school, year 12, I went into carpentry for that reason, because I just wanted to learn it. And it's the greatest asset I've got today. I absolutely love it. That, and then going on to get my unlimited builder's license.
And what's obviously coming from a tools, building background, and now being, as we had a little joke, a celebrity, so to speak, but you said, what's a celebrity? Now being on Better Homes and Gardens, and been doing that for 8 years. And so how are you finding the difference in life from on the tools to on TV camera?
Yeah, so I made sure, look, I mean, so building is my life, and it really is. As I said, it's a passion. When you've got a passion for something, I was lucky enough to find something I had a passion for, and TV, well, that just fell into my lap. So for me, it was, I wanted to make sure that I never lost my passion. So I had to keep building, and that was a no-brainer, because that's what brings me enjoyment, that brings me satisfaction. TV is absolutely amazing. If anyone tells you they're on TV and they work hard, they're bloody lying, all right? Because they treat me too good on TV. And so the Better Homes and Gardens team, right? So I work on Better Homes, and it's amazing. There's probably 50 people behind the scenes, and they're working 5 days a week. And you know, they work bloody hard, and they're just a great bunch of people, and that is the enjoyment for me, and that's why I stay on TV, not because I like being on front of camera, because that's definitely not what I'm natural at, but it's the people that I get to work with. It's so diverse, and they're just an amazing group of people, and we really have fun, and we get to help out as well. Like, you know, some projects I might do where it's just a rocking chair, you don't get much satisfaction, but then when you get to help out families and that, it is really remarkable, and so I'm really blessed to be part of that team.
And obviously there's a passion with timber, coming from the building background and being a carpenter. Talk us about, I heard briefly, you know, when you were, Eileen was courting you, so to speak, and
me and Eileen had a great time when we caught up.
And how you got part of Wood Solutions, and talk to us about that.
Well, it was just, I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer. I was really excited to catch up with Eileen, and it just brought another avenue to the trade. So I went into carpentry, and I knew timber species and timber products, what I would use in my construction, but not necessarily, I didn't know the forestry part of it. So, and then some of the research that had been done. So to sit down with Eileen and start to learn even new stuff that after being in the trade for over 2 decades that I hadn't known, it was bringing even more excitement to me. And that's why, you know, I'm just grateful to be part of Wood Solutions and the forestry and wood products,
And obviously, you know, wood being the ultimate renewal, what's your thoughts, or any ideas you can share with us of the plans from what you're planning to do with Wood Solutions?
Well, as I said to the guys when they got me on board, for me, like anything, I believe it's teaching and education, and that's, you know, when I go back to my trade, right? So carpentry, I believe I was there, and it's to build the structure. But what I loved most about becoming the builder is then I could educate my clients. Yeah, and so, because as we all know, there's not necessarily, you'll get a design, but that necessarily doesn't always go to fruition because the customer doesn't understand the cost. So then things have to change. But then you want them to make sure that they make educated decisions. And so you're then putting it back on the client and saying, well, this is why we believe you should go down this path. And this is, I reckon, the ultimate renewable. This campaign it's about teaching the people. I've always said tradies love working with timber. It's the preferred choice. I mean, I speak from a carpenter's background. No carpenter does an apprenticeship to work with any other material but timber. So we all love timber, but how do you get the tradie to then pass that on to then the owners, so the owners understand the benefits of why they should be asking for this product. And so that's what, you know, this campaign's about, making sure that people understand that trees actually store carbon. They're sucking it from the atmosphere, it's amazing. And then it's emitting less carbon. So it's, you know, it's a carbon positive material. What other building material does that?
And obviously Weathertex with a better than zero carbon footprint fits right into.
But that's exactly right. But that's exactly right. Yes. Yeah.
And you know, sustainable timber cladding solution at no extra cost as well. I might put that one in. Is there anyone got any questions in the audience you'd like to ask Adam?
As a tradie, how did you find your experience? Because industry is struggling with a skills shortage in the workforce. Trades are seen as dumb, dusty, dangerous.
Yeah, and that's always been the case. Yeah, that has always been the case. So the trades back, especially back when I started, it was even more so. I think it is slowly changing, but I guess I'll touch on that first before I talk about the skill shortage. That used to upset me back when I was younger, because there was, the theory was, you're no good at school, just go and get a trade. But the problem with that is those tradies, half of them didn't even want to be a tradie. So you can't teach someone that doesn't want to learn. And so in the end, they're either just doing it to try and make money, and then they're not even going to be following what is meant to be the proper building procedure, because they've never remembered it, because they never wanted to learn it from the first place, because they were just forced into it. So yeah, that part of it upsets me. But then there's the side that I had, which was the passion and the enjoyment. And I could have left school in year 9 and year 10 because I knew I wanted to be a carpenter, but I didn't. I stayed at school, and I enjoyed my last years of school because school's fun, yeah? Working life's hard. But so I wanted to enjoy my last few years at school, and I still did relatively well. But I went into the trade because I wanted to learn something. So, you know, I want to find the passion in kids for that. Like, yes, I work in the mud. Yes, I work in the rain. Yes, I get up early. It is bloody brutal. But you know what? My favourite feeling, like I couldn't frame every day, but one of my favourite feelings is frame day you rock up. There is nothing there. It's either a subfloor or a slab. At the end of the day, you've worked your absolute butt off. You stand back and there's this timber structure there. I'll tell you now, that is the best feeling in the world. You're like, hey, how good am I? How good am I? And so, you know, I want to get that across to young kids today to say, it's fun. Like there's nothing wrong with getting dirty. There's nothing wrong with working out in the cold. Yeah, it might be brutal, but you're not doing it by yourself. You've got a team around you who are all trying to achieve the end goal of getting this job done. And then once you get it done, you get rewarded, because it's as I said, the reward is seeing what you've actually done. And not everyone gets to get that reward.
So we might just take that clip and send it to the Jobs Summit next week. Thank you very much. Well done, Eileen. Good choice. And my second question is, how many bags of cement, you're Sicilian, how many bags of cement does it take to fill your size of shoe?
Yeah. I've got a 5-ton excavator too, yeah?
Good question.
Oh dear, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, leave that one alone.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, mate. Cheers. Yeah.